Welcome in. I'm Brian Edwards, Major Wager. Let's talk the 2019 college football bowl season. And obviously been busy. I'm coming to you early Wednesday afternoon. Been busy with a lot of hoops this week and NFL stuff. So, other than like the major bowls, I've actually tried to avoid looking at the lines so I can handicap the games and create my own lines before I see them. But obviously there are exceptions. I mean, I knew what I was looking for. Certainly with Clemson and Ohio State, got it Sunday night. It was -1 or 1.5. I got it -120 on the money line. I love the Clemson Tigers against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Both teams, great seasons. Both teams loaded. Obviously, I mentioned it in my coaching carousel video. It'll be interesting to see Jeff Scott, the new USF head coach, replacing Charlie Strong, who's the OC at Clemson. We've seen a mixed bag of results on this. There was Mark Richt, took the Georgia job in 2000, but stuck around to call plays for FSU Oklahoma national title game in South Florida. Chris Winkie, Heisman Trophy winner. They basically got bageled. They lost 13-2 for the national title. Only did they score on a bad snap by the punter for safety. But then there's been like Bo Pelini, took Nebraska job in 2007. Still called defense for LSU against Ohio State, the BCS championship game in New Orleans, and they spanked them. We had the Lane Kiffin thing. They beat Washington, but Sabes didn't think that. What did they win that game? 24-7, I think. Sabes just didn't like. He got rid of Kiffin, went to Sark for Alabama Clemson, and they lost on the Hunter Renfrow pass with like 1 or 2 seconds left. But that one wasn't on Sark. That was a shootout. What was that score? 45-42 or something? Anywho. When I talk bowl games, you really have to forget about the regular season and know that these games are its own entity. And there's all sorts of factors in play that have nothing to do with what went on in the regular season. Okay, nothing. I've always said motivation and location. Okay. On the location front, I just went through and I nabbed a couple of spots that stand out because they legit are true road assignments. I think it's the Boca Raton Bowl, whatever the case. SMU is at FAU, literally at their stadium. Same thing with BYU at Hawaii. Okay. So those are legit road games. Now, Miami plays La Tech, Independence Bowl in Shreveport. La Tech is actually in Ruston. I'm not sure the exact distance from Shreveport to Ruston, but I don't think it's very far. So that's in their home state. Those were the main ones that stood out on the motivation front. On the location front, the motivation front is all kind of thing. And now we have the motivation factor. Now it also extends to players that are projected first, second, third round picks, or maybe not even that high, that just don't want to risk getting hurt. We've already seen Boston College's all-time leading rusher, A.J. Dillon, turn pro early, and he won't play in the bowl game. Same with Florida's C.J. Henderson, although Dan Mullen has indicated that he doesn't think any other players are even considering skipping the bowl game. Where I really think you have an issue, and I strongly caution everyone, as you're handicapping these games, if you see a bad line, because, a lot of these lines will move drastically. We've got weeks, and in some cases, not a whole month. Well, in some cases, we've got a week and a half. Some cases, we've got 3 weeks. Some cases, we've got nearly a month. Not really, because it's, the 11th now. But Like if you're looking at Alabama, Michigan, and you think Alabama -7 against Michigan's a joke, it should be 14. Keep in mind, they haven't announced it officially yet. But my Alabama buddies told me that Jerry Jeudy's checked out after the LSU game, pretty much. I don't think Jerry Jeudy's going to play. One of those receivers is a sophomore and it's going to be back. I'm not going to break out my mag. I hate doing that when I'm on the air. But so what? Is it Ruggs or what? I think it's Waddle that's a sophomore that has to come back. But Ruggs and Devontae Smith and Jeudy are all going to be first round picks. I'll be shocked if Jeudy plays. I'll be a little surprised if the others play. It could be the same on the other side of the ball. Raekwon Davis. It could be. I don't think you should expect to see Jabari Zuniga for Florida, but I mean he's only played 4 games all year. I mean he had the ankle injury against Kentucky. He tried to give it a go in the 2 most important games, Georgia and LSU. He went as long as he could, and those are the only times he's played. I mean his ankle is not right, so don't expect to see him. There are also some injuries to keep an eye on. Illinois has got like a dozen players that are questionable, and Jake Hansen, the linebacker, Butkus Award semifinalist, quarterback Brandon Peters. Those are 2 very important guys, and the guy who's got the Immortabi or whatever. He started at Florida. He's got a long last name, tough to spell, tough to pronounce. He had a huge game against Michigan State when I cashed that plus 500 money line winner. He's also questionable. I think Reggie Corbin's going to be good to go, but Illinois has a slew of injuries. Okay, Nevada, 4 starters on defense have been suspended because they were a part of a brawl with UNLV. In the regular season finale, which I assume I didn't even know they had a brawl. I need to look it up. Maybe it was a good one. I assume it just came in the second half, and so that's why they are suspended. Wanted to point. Okay, so I said I love Clemson. All right, we've got hypothetical lines. I checked all these offshores. I couldn't find it. I'm giving you the hypothetical lines from one of my accounts where I play. So here they are. Hypothetical lines for the 4 possibilities in the college football playoff finals. LSU -1.5 against Ohio State. Love LSU there. Just like I love Clemson against Ohio State. LSU +1.5 against Clemson. That's going to be the finals. I would take LSU as an underdog, but I mean, I have an enormous amount of respect for Clemson. Excuse me. I just do not think that the Louisiana legend, Joe M.F. Burrow, is going to be denied. And if loyal listeners, you might remember I was at the Hard Rock in Vegas on my way to the airport. When did LSU when did I think it was, did I watch Florida, Georgia out there? No, I watched that. What weekend? Oh, I was Florida, South Carolina. Okay, so that was October 19th weekend. So Tua got hurt that day. The ankle, not the hip. I said that Monday, so that would have been October 21st. I said that I was already starting to lean to LSU winning outright at Alabama, regardless of a Tua injury. And I stated it right then, with Tua injured, whether he's back or not, less than 100%, I like LSU to win that game outright. I told you that October 21st. I think I expanded on it by basically just saying I don't think anybody's going to beat LSU. And that's pretty much what I've been saying since late October. And I believe that. Now, can Clemson beat them? You damn right Clemson can beat them. I just don't think Burrow will be denied. I think Burrow will play better than Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, Burrow is the favorite at offshore betting shops to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Now, if Lawrence was coming out, I don't know if that would be the case. If Tua was healthy, I'm not sure that would be the case. But none of that matters because it's irrelevant. Okay, so the main point of this video is, look, I am all about, I encourage, especially during the regular season, and we at Major Wager have talked about, and I've given props to my cohort, Christopher Smith. He jumps on a bunch of lines on Sunday, and he almost always gets the best of them. I'm all about getting the best of an early line. However, we've got all these players we don't know that'll sit out. And don't forget, just like week 1 of college football, when you never know what suspensions you're going to have, they don't get announced, and then you find out 10 minutes before the game that like 4 starters aren't playing because they tested positive for weed over the summer, or they got a whatever, driving without a license or some sort of, excuse my sideway view. I just don't have the leg room right here. So anyhow, yeah, you've got all sorts of personnel things that could come up that we just don't know about yet. And and you could think you're getting a good line, and then the line will end up being 4 or 5 points the other way if like three certain players don't play. The best example that I can give you of this, actually, I give you 2 good ones, and I've really only broken like 4 or 5 big, because I don't consider myself a reporter necessarily. I'm a sports analyst, handicapper, whatever. Do a little writing, talk a little radio, pods, whatever. But I've got connections in Tallahassee, and I found out that Chris Ricks overslept his exam, and because he didn't get there, he was going to fail that class and couldn't play in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. I found that out. It was like pick 'em, and I called my father. I called 1 or 2 other people that I know that like to gamble, and I said, Chris Ricks is going to be out. This line's going to move 7 or 8 points. Get on it now for a lot. Yep, that's what happened. The line moved 7 points. Anquan Bolden had to play quarterback much of the game, and Georgia covered easily, smashed them. The other one was 20 defensive starters, and I got to give my boy, well, I shouldn't give my source away, but yeah, probably. He's not even in the business anymore. My boy Lamar told me 20 players are going to get suspended for the Music City Bowl by FSU against Kentucky. So I reported that. Took Kentucky. The line was like around pick'em, kind of like the FSU Georgia game, or -1. Took it. I remember 6 days later, I see it on the ticker. Mark Schlabach of ESPN is reporting that. I was like, dude, we had this on the homepage a week ago. I emailed him. No response. Not that he can control us on the ticker, but I mean, come on. Come on, man. You're a week late. The line moved to 9. So, I mean, I was heavy on Kentucky, but I did come back with a little bit of FSU +9. They got a backdoor touchdown in the last couple minutes and hit them both, won by 7. So those things happen. I feel like there've been a rash of suspensions for bowl games many times, even recently. So you got to look out for those things. All right. I told you I like Clemson against Ohio State. I also like the over on Florida, Virginia, which is 54. Zuniga's not going to play for Florida. CJ Henderson's not going to play for Florida, 3-time All-SEC corner. Florida's offense is thriving. We saw what Clemson did to Virginia's defense. Bryce Perkins is going to make plays. I think I had some over stats written down. Let's see here. Well, the over... 4-2 in Florida's last 6. I think it's a lot better for the Cavs. Wahoo! Shout out A. Reith Miller. Oh yeah, the over is hit in 5 straight for the Cavs. And I mean, big, big scores. 62-17, 79 combined. 39-30, 69 combined. 55-27, 82 combined. 33-28, 61 combined. 38-31, 69 combined. So what was the smallest one? 61 is their smallest scoring output in the last 5. And the number's 54. Like that over Orange Bowl. Unless it's just some crazy, rain, the weather in terms of temperature and whatnot will be great. So, so there's that. I like that over. And then you guys, if you listen or read my, Eastern Michigan is a double-digit dog is so automatic for me. Eastern Michigan 23-5-2 their last 30 as an underdog, and they are plus 10.5 against Pitt. That's an automatic play, and that's about really all I have. I hope I gave you all those hypotheticals, right? Ohio State would be minus 11.5 to Oklahoma. Oklahoma would be plus 12.5 to Clemson. Yeah, I don't think I gave you those last two. All right, 16 minutes. We've been talking bowl games. Let me just cruise through the sheet again and see if I. Oh, yeah. I wanted to mention some coaching things. So, in terms of motivation, so FA and location with FAU, so they're at home, but who's going to be coaching them? Are those assistants that are going with Kiffin to Ole Miss? Are they gone? Are they sticking around? They got to be out recruiting for Kiffin, I think. So not only do you have an FAU staff that not only are those guys, they don't know where their next job is going to be. So, you got to wonder about FAU there. App State, they lost Drinkwitz. I think they're going to promote within, but I don't think they've done that yet. And by the way, between my coaching carousel video and this one, UNLV has found its new coach, Arroyo, the Oregon OC. So now for Oregon, Wisconsin, will Oregon have its OC? We don't know. Okay, let me go down and look at some more coaching changes from that affect some of these teams here. For Wake Forest, Jamie Newman, the star quarterback, and wide receiver Scotty Washington are questionable. Baylor. Oh, yeah, Baylor, Georgia's got all kind of injuries. So Baylor, Charlie Brewer, the quarterback, although I thought those backups acquitted themselves well against Oklahoma, that concussion was not a good one. I know he's got several weeks, but he's questionable. And then Dominic Blaylock tore his ACL against LSU, and Lawrence Cager is out with the ankle. So 2 of Georgia's 3 best receivers are out. Okay. Memphis against Penn State. No Norvell. No Norvell. So where's their motivation? We shall see. I'm not saying that a team loses their coach, they can't play inspired football. Florida won with DJ Durkin in the Birmingham Bowl against East Carolina after Muschamp was fired, but then they were garbage post Zook pre-Oscar with Charlie Strong as coach. I was there at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. Got smoked by Miami. All right, let's see. Mentioned a bunch of injuries for Illinois against Cal. Lynn Bowden is going to return. Is turning pro. I don't know if he's going to play or not. We shall see. Utah, Texas. Texas has got all kind of injuries. You know that. I'd be interested to see if Zach Moss, decides to play. I told you about Michigan, Alabama. Auburn's got some guys, Derek Brown, Marlon. I would think those guys will play, but, never know. Jonathan Taylor, is he going to play for Wisconsin? I mentioned A.J. Dillon. Cincinnati. I mentioned the 4 suspensions for Nevada. Southern Miss, Tulane. So Willie Fritz, I knew his name was coming up. Now, for those opening job, what do we got? BC, is BC the only Power 5 job? Willie Fritz is still with Tulane for now, but I know his name was popping up. UL Lafayette. So I guess Napier. Yeah, Napier didn't get the Ole Miss job, obviously. So I guess he'll still be there. So I guess that about wraps things up. We'll have a video when these games get closer where I've got more, ATS trends, more info, more injury info, et cetera, et cetera. All right, Brian Edwards, Major Wager. Careful, careful, caution, caution. Don't bet these games too early before you know of players sitting out, suspensions, injury updates, injuries during bowl preparation, etc., etc. Over now.